welcome back to Calon Kids. We are ready to look at the parable of the sower today, and we are going to make these little grass heads. So go and get your stuff and we'll see you back here in a minute. So we are looking at the parable of the sower and we're going to make these grass heads. So what you need to get is a plastic cup, some cotton wool, some cardboard, some felt tip pens. You'll need some glue and some seeds. Now I've used cress seeds. You can use grass seeds as well. So if you haven't got some, you can order them online, or all the garden centres are open now. Pop out and get some. But these are easily made and we're going to start now. So what you've got to do is decide what face you want on your grass head. It could be a funny face, it could be an emoji, it could be an animal, or even a funny alien, whatever you decide to do. So here I've got a giraffe, I've done a smiley face here, I've got another happy face here, I've got a cow in this one, and then finally I've done, my girls thought it was a caterpillar. It was meant to be an alien, but it's a happy alien. So anyway, that's the last one I've got. So I've already prepared 5 different ones, and now I'm going to do a dog. So first of all, you'll need to draw around the top of your plastic cup. So just grab your cup and draw around on your cardboard. Then you need to decide what you're going to do on your cardboard, whether it's an animal or alien. And once you've decided that, all you need to do is draw it and colour it in. Once it's drawn and coloured in, you then cut it out ready to stick onto your plastic cup. So once you've drawn it and cut it out, and here's my little dog, you then just stick it onto your cup. So get some Pritt stick and glue a big line down the back of your face, whatever you've decided to draw, and then just stick it to your plastic cup. Now what you need to do is just stick it slightly above the rim of the cup. Can you see? Slightly above the rim of the cup, because what you don't want to see is all the stems of what is going to be the hair. So there is my dog ready. Then you just need to put some cotton wool. Now I've got a bag of cotton wool here. You need to fill your cup with the cotton wool. So put it all in, bunch it out a little bit, push it down like that, and try as best you can on the top there to have a flat area. Then you just need your seeds. So I've got a bag of cress seeds, which is what I've already made. And all you need to do is sprinkle them onto your cotton wool. Put as many as you can. Don't worry if they fall down at the bottom of the cup. It doesn't matter. But put as many as you can into the cup, because the more you have, the more growth you'll get. And then all you need to do is water it. And over the next couple of days, keep it nice and wet so that your seeds will grow. It'll probably take maybe a couple of days before you start to see some growth. These are quite like 4 days old for these cress to grow. So just keep watering it, put it somewhere sunny, and keep your eye on the growth. So that's all it is for the craft today, a really quick and simple one. But just remember, in a couple of days' time, when your grass or your cress is growing, please put a photograph online, #CalonKids, so we can see what you've made. Now, let me tell you the story or the parable of the sower. Jesus tells this story about a sower who was sowing the seeds of corn in his field. As he was scattering the seeds, there was 4 different places that the seeds landed. First of all, some landed on a path. And on the path, because there was no soil, the seeds were just lying on the path, and birds came down and ate all the seeds. Then he threw some, and some landed on some really rocky places. Now, immediately the seeds landed, they started to root. But because it was on rocks, there wasn't that much soil there. And so soon, when they had started to grow and the sun was beating down, because the roots weren't very deep, because there wasn't much soil there, the sun soon dried them up and they soon died. Then the other place that some of the seeds landed was amongst bushes and amongst thorns. And as everything grew, the bushes, the thorns, and the seed, the corn, the thorns and the bushes just grew over it and completely killed off the plant. And then lastly, some of the seeds landed on good soil. They took root. There was plenty of soil there. So when the sun came down and the water came down, they weren't washed away. They weren't dried up because they had plenty of soil to hold themselves steady. It was really good soil. And the moral or the lesson behind the parable of the sower is that we are like that sometimes. When we hear like what God has done or what Jesus has done in the miracles, when we hear things like that, we can be similar to the soil. We could maybe hear it, but we just kind of brush it off and we leave, if you like, the birds to come and pick at it. So in other words, we've heard it, but we don't really care. And soon we've forgotten about it. Or we could be like the path when we first heard about God, we think, do you know what, that's really good. I believe that, I really understand that, that's really, really good. But before long, because the soil isn't very deep and there's lots of rocks around, before long we start to forget what we've learned, we start to forget what we believe and we just leave it die away. Thirdly, when the sower sowed some seeds, if you remember, in the bushes. And we can be like that too. When we hear stories of Jesus or we learn things about God, we can let other things like our school friends or things that we do just kind of overtake what we've learned. And soon what we've learned about God becomes nothing as everything else gets piled on top. Or we can be like the good soil. When we hear about God and we hear stories of Jesus, we allow that into our lives. We allow it to change us. We listen to it. We do what the Bible is asking us. We do things like we're being good. We're helping others. We're being a good neighbour. All the other parables we've learned. If we are listening to God's word and leaving it change our lives and our behaviour, then that is because we are being good soil. And that's the lesson of the parable of the sower. So have a think about it. You've now been with Calon Kids for about 11 weeks and you heard all the different parables. What sort of soil are you? Have you learned stuff and have you changed? Or have you allowed other things like maybe playing with your Lego or your sister's annoying you so you've allowed her to get to you? Or have you just forgotten about it? What type of soil are you? I really hope you've enjoyed your craft today and the story today. I hope you enjoyed making your little grass heads and I can't wait to see what you've made. So put them on Calon Church, #Calon Kids, and I'll see you next Saturday for another craft and another parable of Jesus. Have a great week. Bye.